a ton of optimism from that meeting yesterday. What did you make of it?
Like, an incredibly optimistic mood, lots of agreement, but no specific action. So I thought it was really interesting, the degree of collegiality that you saw. I mean, we see Premier Danielle Smith there welcoming the Prime Minister's tone with respect to energy infrastructure, energy projects, and a very long, detailed communique. So we did emerge with at least this. We emerged with a pretty clear roadmap of what's going to happen going forward. Prime Minister has a list of projects that have been designated by the provinces. He's then going to pass legislation. They're going to call this the National Interest Bill, effectively giving governments the right to move and move rapidly on those things that are designated as a matter of national economic significance. All of this, of course, happening in the context of Donald Trump and his aggression. So that will unfold. Prime Minister says this list that eventually gets designated, it might shift around depending upon the interest from investors, right? So what does the investment community get behind? He doesn't want to just have this footed by taxpayers. He wants, you know, big banks and pension funds and private equity to come in. So we'll see. But what we did not get the action that we started to associate with Mr. Carney's rhetoric. So we'll wait and see over the summer.
Wait and see. And just to punctuate how optimistic this group was. I mean, Doug Ford was singing "Love is in the Air." We've got a clip. We've got to play this. This is how he described the Prime Minister. Let's listen to the sound.
This has been the best meeting we've had in 10 years. Simple. Best meeting I've had in 7 years. And there was no expectations that the Prime Minister was going to come out and say, you get that project, you get that project. It was a great discussion. I described him today as Santa Claus. He's coming, and his sled was full of all sorts of stuff. Now he's taking off back to the North Pole. He's going to sort it out, and then he's going to call us. So, and we're building the only thing short of Santa Claus is my big belly. I got to loan it to him.
Okay.
Can this last?
Someone strap that guy's arms down before he starts hugging and kissing people. Like, these are supposed to be professional meetings.
He's buoyant. Like, he's on a high.
Yeah, a kid on a kite out there.
Right? So can it last? I mean, can the Prime Minister keep every province happy?
I think no, he can't. But I do think that the selection of eventual projects that will be designated as sort of national interest, you know, we'll likely see a regional and sectoral balance. So I do think you're going to get a pipeline. I do think you're going to see high-speed railway. So, you know, and then what's the balance going to be? Are we going to talk about housing that's kind of national in scope? Are we going to talk about shipbuilding in the Atlantic? So it'll be interesting to see how they sort those priorities out. But the Prime Minister talks often about action, and he is putting a ton of pressure on himself, raising expectations that this stuff will get done. And now we're going to get into the hard summer months of slogging it out, talking between the provinces, balancing out which projects, disappointing some people. And then, of course, you have to come to the very real challenge of dealing with Indigenous communities who have a very clear say in this, dealing with local communities, other interests, stakeholders. There's a reason that some of these things haven't happened, and that's because it's difficult. And so exactly what will this sense of urgency lend? Because, you know, when there's a crisis, it opens a window to action. But that window doesn't stay open forever.
All right. Scott, good to see you this morning.
Good to see you.
Appreciate it. Scott Reid, he is our political commentator at CTV.